Do you ever feel lost? Like the world is moving around you and you're almost not even a part of it. You don't feel sad necessarily, but you definitely aren't happy. People talk to you and you listen to them, but you forget almost everything they said by the time they finish talking. Your mind is racing 1,000,000 miles per hour, but there is also a shocking emptiness there. Maybe even sometimes you get so in your head that it's almost cinematic and movie-like. Everything around you is quiet. You can tune the world out. It's almost peaceful, but at the same time scary because you're kind of just existing. You go through an entire day, and at night you think back and realize you were barely conscious or paying attention to anything, just going through the motions. Well, I was you, and it lasted a really long time. From the time I was 16 to about age 23, I would consider myself pretty lost, even though nobody knew it, and I'm not even sure I was aware of it. But it wouldn't be all the time. It would come in phases. I would get my shit straight for a while, and seem to get on the right path, get focused and excited about a new hobby, maybe some schoolwork, or even a job. And then after a while, I would just get lost. And as I'm saying it, it sounds super repetitive and kind of vague, but that's the only way I can explain it. I would just get lost. It's like one day everything makes sense, and then the next day I can't even understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, or if it even matters, or I wonder if I've just been wasting my time. When I was 16, for one summer, I decided to start selling weed. I don't really know why. I think I just wanted money. I liked being the weed man. I liked the attention it brought me. I liked having sessions with friends, and I liked being able to buy things with my own money. But I was very foolish. I gave literally anyone my number and told them to tell their friends to hit me up. Eventually, I had random grown men, like literally dudes in their 20s, asking if they could buy from me. Multiple times I got burned or beat, where they took my stuff and ran off or drove off without paying. I knew I wasn't a drug dealer. I knew I didn't want to do this. And eventually one day, it all hit me. What the fuck am I even doing? What is wrong with me? I dumped all my weed, decided to totally just quit smoking. I threw out my scale, the little baggies, everything. I just got rid of absolutely everything. And I felt embarrassed and ashamed and confused. Why did I even do any of that? I couldn't even process a single thought from the previous 3 months. So I guess I just went back to focusing on school. Fast forward 1 full year. I got a part-time job working at Sears in the shoe section. I did about 15 hours per week. I was still in high school, so I couldn't work too much, just after school and on the weekends. But this company was going bankrupt, and I think today there's only 37 stores left. Everyone I worked with hated their job, and there were some nights where I wouldn't even get one customer. One day I was in the back, like where the storage is, where the extra inventory is kept. I saw some thermal socks. I was like, yo, my feet get cold in the winter. I want these. So I literally just took them on my way out of work. These socks were probably 10 steps away from the employee exit, so I just snagged them and walked out. No big deal. Just some socks, right? Shortly after that, I made it a mission of mine to take something home every single time I went to work. I would do whatever little job I had to do, clean up, do some inventory or whatever. Then I would literally spend the next few hours plotting. It was like a game to me. Remember I told you this store was just, there was nobody ever in it. I would take a shirt, a flannel, some cologne, underwear, all this random shit I definitely didn't need, but I didn't even really want it either. I didn't even have a plan. I would just take it from the sales floor and move it to the back. Then I put it in a shopping bag and I would leave the store at night. I wasn't even thinking. Literally mindless. After about 4 months of doing this, it was about 2 weeks before my 18th birthday. I thought I was getting away scot-free with all of this. I thought, why don't I step it up? I need a new Xbox controller. So I waltz over there, browse around, grab me the controller, walk across the entire store, bring it to the back, and set it down right next to where I keep my keys and my wallet, knowing damn well that night I was going to take it home. About 10 minutes later, my boss comes over to me, asks me to follow her, and she's taking me to the security room to basically say that I got caught. And still, in my head, I was so unconsciously, mindlessly doing this that not for 1 second did it click in my head like, you're about to get caught. Didn't even think anything of it. She brings me to a random section in the back that I had never been in before. I see the security team and a cop, and immediately the whole past 4 months of my life flashed before my eyes. Soon as the door opened, was when I realized what I was doing. I finally became conscious of my actions. I finally asked myself, why the fuck are you doing this? And to be 100% honest with you, I'm sitting here at age 25, and I really have no idea why I was doing this. I don't know why I took a single thing from that store, because I'm not a thief. I consider myself to be a very fair and honest person, even back then. And those actions don't represent who I am at all. I mean, there were a lot of other things going wrong in my life at the time that I'll have to talk about at a different time. But maybe this was the only thing that I felt like I could control. Honestly, I can't find a way to justify it. I was just really lost. I got fired from that job, obviously, and had to pay everything back. And there's way more to that story. I'll tell it another time, maybe in more detail if anybody cares. But I wanted to get back to my point of how I was just moving through life so unconsciously. After this, I was approaching high school graduation, and the entire school year, I didn't even apply to any colleges. Not one. Didn't even try to. It's not like I didn't care. I just didn't apply. And I graduated in the top 50 of my class. My GPA was awesome, and I was a good student. Literally on the last day that I could apply to community college was when I actually did it. Someone was like, hey, you going to OCC? I'm like, I don't know yet. And they said, well, applications are due today. So I just applied. That's where I ended up going. It's not like going to a community college or a county college is a bad thing, but just throughout my whole senior year, I just wasn't even thinking about my future. Didn't even care. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just existing. As I got older, I stopped fucking up as much. I wasn't doing obviously stupid things, but I would consistently have these moments of just getting lost. I remember going through full semesters of college, getting A's and B's, but not remembering a single thing, wondering how I even did it. And I know by this point in the video, you've dedicated a lot of time listening to me. Maybe you're expecting me to tell you how to get through it or my secret recipe, but I don't have one, and I don't think there is one. It's just something you got to get through. It comes from within. You have to find yourself. But in order to do that, you kind of have to recognize that you are a bit lost. And that would have saved me a lot of time. I just never really recognized it. But one thing I can tell you is that if you do recognize it and you know that things will get better and you will get through it and you'll keep pushing for it, you'll get there. It will happen. You will find yourself.